Everything is plugged in, the device is on, and your Sony TV is just sitting there telling you there is no signal. Whether it is a gaming console, a cable box, a streaming device, or a Blu-ray player, you are not getting a picture and you need to know why right now. Your TV is almost certainly not broken. Here is the real reason this is happening and how to fix every case of it. Number 6. The TV is showing the wrong input. This is the single most common reason for a no-signal message on any TV, including Sony, and it is worth confirming before anything else, even though it sounds too simple. Your Sony TV has multiple HDMI ports on the back, typically labeled HDMI 1, HDMI 2, HDMI 3, and sometimes more. Each one is a separate input. If your console or streaming box is plugged into HDMI 2 but the TV is currently displaying HDMI 1, you will see no signal every time without exception. Press the input button on your Sony remote. It may look like a rectangle with an arrow or be labeled input or source. A menu will appear listing all available inputs. Select the one that matches the port your device is physically plugged into. If you are not sure which port you used, trace the HDMI cable from your device all the way to the back of the TV and read the label printed next to where it connects. Number 5. The HDMI cable has failed. A cable that looks fully inserted may not be making a reliable connection. The plug needs to be pushed firmly into the port until it stops moving. A partially seated cable will result in no signal even though it appears connected at a glance. Unplug the HDMI cable from both ends. Inspect the cable and both ports for any bent pins, debris, or visible damage. Firmly push the cable back in at the TV end first, then at the device end. Sony's official support documentation specifically recommends using a high-speed HDMI cable certified with the HDMI logo for reliable signal transmission. If the cable is old, cheap, or shows any physical wear, swap it for a new one. HDMI cables fail over time and the failure is not always visible from the outside. A new cable costs very little and takes 30 seconds to test. Number 4. Connected device is not outputting correctly. The no-signal message can come from the device you connected, not from the TV itself. If your game console is in a deep sleep state, is still booting, or has its display settings configured to output a resolution or format your Sony TV cannot accept, the TV receives nothing it can display. Make sure your device is fully powered on, not in standby, and give it a full minute to finish booting before expecting a signal to appear on the TV. If the device was recently set to a resolution that your TV does not support, that can cause a permanent no-signal state even after reconnecting. On PlayStation consoles, you can hold the power button for about 7 seconds to boot in safe mode and reset the display output. On Xbox consoles, go to Startup Settings to reset the display. This restores a default resolution the TV can accept. Number 3. The TV needs a firmware update. Sony frequently releases Bravia firmware updates that fix HDMI compatibility issues between the TV and specific devices. If your TV is running old software, it may fail to recognize or correctly handshake with a newer device, showing no signal even though the cable and input are both correct. On your Sony TV, press Home, go to Settings, then Device Preferences or System, then About, and select System Update. Install anything available and let the TV restart. After the update, try selecting the input again. Sony's support team notes that HDMI compatibility improvements are one of the most common types of fixes included in Bravia firmware releases. Updating costs nothing and often resolves no signal issues with newer devices without any other changes. Number 2. Power cycle both devices. When a TV and a connected device both hold old signal negotiation data from a previous session, the handshake between them fails even when everything is connected correctly. Both devices try to set up the connection based on cached settings that no longer match, and the result is a blank screen. Unplug your Sony TV from the wall completely. Unplug your connected device from power as well. Leave both fully unplugged for 60 seconds. Now plug the device in first and wait for it to fully boot. Then plug the TV back in and turn it on. Select the correct input and wait for the signal to appear. Powering the device on before the TV forces a clean signal handshake. The TV starts fresh and negotiates the connection from zero with no stale data interfering. Sony's troubleshooting guide recommends this specific order for resolving HDMI no-signal errors. Number 1. Factory reset the TV. If you have confirmed the correct input, reseated the cable, power cycled both devices, updated the firmware, and checked the device's output settings, and the no-signal message persists, a factory reset is the final software-level fix before hardware service. Go to Settings on your Sony TV, then Device Preferences, then Reset. Confirm the factory reset and let the TV complete the full process. After it restarts, select your input fresh before making any other changes. If the signal appears after a clean reset, a corrupted setting was blocking the input from displaying correctly. Sony's support documentation lists factory reset as the definitive last troubleshooting step before determining that a hardware fault, such as a damaged HDMI port or board, requires professional service. If the signal still does not appear after a complete factory reset and you have already swapped the cable and confirmed the device works on another screen, contact Sony support or visit an authorized service center. Comment below which device was giving you the issue and tell us which number fixed it.